Hi, my name's Ian. I'm the owner of Masseria Giulio, which is located in southern Italy, midway between the Adriatic and the Ionian coasts. Close to lots of really good beaches and some of Puglia's main historic and cultural centres, for example Ostuni, Francavilla, Lecce, Alberobello. We bought the Masseria in 2013 after coming to Italy on holiday and falling in love with the Puglia region, the temperature, the weather, the people, the food, the wine. When we bought the Masseria, it had been abandoned for 28 years, so it needed a complete restructure and renovation, which was a big project, but something that we really enjoyed doing and bringing back an old historic building to life. The Masseria was built in 1620 and was originally a religious building, probably a chapel for the local church, before it transformed into a working Masseria at around the beginning of the 18th century. We've now brought it into becoming a self-catering holiday apartments. So it's now in its third life, if you like. We opened in around 2016. In all of that time, all of the work in terms of running the business, I managed through a number of spreadsheets, which worked quite well, but was actually a lot of work and involved a lot of time when we were doing things like setting our prices for the next year, maintaining control over the bookings, making sure that the different apartments were booked across our different sites. So we use booking.com, Airbnb, TripAdvisor, Expedia, and actually trying to manage the prices and calendars across those different platforms was beginning to become really quite difficult. This year, I kind of decided that we needed extra assistance in managing the property from an administrative point of view. This was around the time that I first started talking to Amenitiz around how they could solve some of the problems that we were experiencing with regards to running the business. Both for ourselves, but also making the experience of booking a holiday here easier for our guests. So for example, when guests arrive, I need to submit information about those guests and register them with the local state police, which requires quite a lengthy administrative procedure. So I was quite disbelieving when I first spoke to Amenitiz about how all of this could be automated. However, I've been amazed at how easy that has now been in order to get through some of those processes. So for example, in terms of registration, I now practically have to do nothing because it's possible for our guests to register their information before they check in, which means that when they arrive, they can go straight down to the swimming pool and relax and start enjoying their holiday rather than having to spend time going through a complicated check-in process. But for me, the information's filled in by the guest, goes into our system, and then is automatically sent to all of the regional authorities to make sure that the process is complete, and it takes me seconds, whereas before it used to take me 10, 15, 20 minutes with every set of guests that arrived. One of the other issues that we had was that most of our business is done through the summer because Puglia is still mainly a summer destination, which gives us an issue in terms of our cash flow. So we go several months without earning any money, and with a number of the platforms out there, so for example booking.com and Airbnb, Verbo for example, they're making the payments to owners much more, not difficult to arrive at, but they arrive later in the process. So normally they don't arrive until the guest has left, which if the guest has booked 8 months before, means that you can go 8 or 9 months before you actually receive any money from that guest, even though they've paid other platforms in advance. So one of the attractions for me for moving to Amenitiz is this lets me control when guests pay for their property, and it means that I can then control my cash flow through the year better. Other problems that we were having before we started using Amenitiz, or why I was interested in using Amenitiz, is that we had a very basic website for direct bookings, which was fine for repeat guests or guests that we knew before, but it was not very easy for new guests booking through us. One of the things that really appealed to me with the Amenitiz offering is that now our website looks like a proper hotel website. A guest can go in, they can view the apartments with better pictures, get a better description of the apartments and what's on offer. They can also then check for availability much easier, and if they're then interested, they can book and pay for their holiday in one easy go. The other thing that I really liked as part of the onboarding process is that, having signed up for Amenitiz, I was then given an onboarding manager to work with who helped me through the process. And I have to say that Maria has been absolutely superb. We had an initial meeting for an hour and a half where she went through the entire set of tools and explained how to set everything up, which was fantastic. However, in an hour and a half, obviously, you don't manage to finish all of the work. So there was still lots of work for me to then go and do. But every time I had a problem, every time I wasn't quite sure how to set something up, she was able to come back and provide me with an answer, normally by phone or by email, and that made the process so much easier. For me, what Amenitiz offers is a lot of the administrative background that's required to run a holiday accommodation like this. There are several different modules that allow you to do that, but all of them come together in a very cohesive way through a very easy to use front-end system that is intuitive, makes sense. I welcome you to our Masseria and hope to see you here sometime soon.